try to cover all of the major areas of concern with the whole creation versus evolution issue. And so I call this, what I do, I call it the Creation versus Evolution Seminar Safari. And so since when I finished college in this country, I went back to South Africa before I was married, and I worked for the National Park Service of South Africa for a while. I worked in a big game reserve, and that had been a lifelong dream of mine. I grew up in that realm, but I wanted to work in a game reserve. I wanted to be with the big animals and so forth. So that's where I began to know about what the safari look is and what people were interested in. So I noticed that people who were coming into our game reserve were interested in mainly seeing the big animals. I was interested in, of course, all the little creatures as well, but they wanted to see the big things. So essentially that's what we do. We try to cover the big areas of evolution, dinosaurs, and evolution itself, does it work? Creation, fossils, apes to man. We try to cover all of the major issues. And so this particular program is a way to help you understand why those issues are so important and foundational in passing the torch on to the next generation. So what I want to do is I can call this passing on the torch, but specifically it's teaching a Christian worldview to our children so that we can indeed pass on that torch. Now, some people might say, well, how do I start? Well, there's one place you do start. If you're looking for a Christian worldview, what's the manual? The manual is the Bible. So here are the key elements of passing on a Christian worldview, passing on the torch. Read the Bible as truth, believe it as truth, teach it as truth, and finally, live it as truth. Any questions before we close the session in prayer? That's the essence of it right there. If we were to do those things faithfully, and I mean from Genesis 1 right through the last chapter of Revelation, if we were to do that and believe it and stop compromising, stop muddying the waters, we would see a lot more truth being passed on. Now, when I was in college in Minnesota, I learned a few things about worldviews, and I'll be sharing some of those with you a little bit later on. But people want to say, okay, what is a worldview? A worldview is actually three things. A worldview comprises your collection, anybody's collection, of three things. Your presuppositions, your convictions, and your values. What do I mean by that? Well, when you presuppose things, it might be things that might not be true, things that you just think are true. Sometimes a presupposition is something that was a holdover from your childhood. Things that you think are true without any reason, really solid reason for believing it. And we all have presuppositions. So our worldview is based on presuppositions, convictions. Now, convictions has specifically what to do with right or wrong, kind of black-white issues. What is it? How is the lens of our lives focused so that we know something is right or something is wrong? How would we know that? So conviction has to do with right or wrong, good and bad type of thing. And finally, values. That has to do with what's important in our life. What do you find important? How do you spend your time? How do we all spend our time? What do you teach your children about investing their time and investing their life? So all of these things, your presuppositions, what you believe is right or wrong and wherever you get that from, and your values. From these three areas, a person tries to understand and make sense of the world around them.